Hello, this is Abby from Neutral News. Today's headline is Lyndon B. Johnson has sent massive troops to Vietnam. There are two sides in this conflict. North Vietnam, a communist state, and South Vietnam, a capitalist state, and also, as well as an ally of the U.S. 20 years ago, they proclaimed their freedom of imperialism from Japan and France. North Vietnam is led by Ho Chi Minh, who is known as a communist leader, while South Vietnam is led by Ngo Dinh Diem, known capitalist. 9 years ago, in 1956, the Geneva Accords took place in order to unify Vietnam. However, this did not work. Due to this, the Viet Cong rose. The Viet Cong are rebels supported by North Vietnam. North Vietnam and Viet Cong both have a vision of unifying Vietnam under communist rule. The Viet Cong have been growing popularity-wise as well as power-wise. They have also been advancing on South Vietnam in the battlefield. This is why yesterday the U.S. agreed upon increasing the number of troops in South Vietnam to 125,000.
Mr. President, it is 2 years since we've started sending massive amounts of troops to support South Vietnamese troops in the fight with the Viet Cong. This is a controversial topic because many believe the invasion was unreasonable. What do you say about those claims?
We are in an intelligence war with the Soviet Union, a communist nation. The Soviet Union has one client or puppet state that is willing to fight with them in order to globalize communism. This state is North Vietnam. If they get the power of South Vietnam, it will mean that South Asia will be disintegrated under the Red Rule. This is the domino effect. If you have a row of dominoes set up and you knock the first one, it is a certainty that the last one will go down.
This is Ann Clinton from CNC News. We are in a risky situation. Many American soldiers are dying far away home. The people of America are asking for the retreat. Why don't you withdraw all forces?
The precipitated withdrawal of American forces from Vietnam will be a complete disaster. A nation cannot remain great if it betrays its allies and lets down its own friends. Ultimately, it will cost more lives. It will not bring peace, it will bring more war.
How isn't this an attempt on maintaining imperialism in the zone?
I want to be clear, it was not meant for the convenience of the United States. It was clear that the Viet Cong, with support of North Vietnam, is taking over the country, and the South Vietnam people need immediate assistance. I firmly think that the expansion of communism will be a huge threat for all the world, and the invasion was the best way to try and stop the issue. This decision was beneficial for the Vietnam citizens, the United States citizens, and finally, all of the anti-communist world.
Peace, 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 peace.
Hello?
Hi.
Could I interview you?
Yes.
Thank you. Who exactly are you?
So, I'm John Hill. I'm a Vietnam War veteran. Today I come here for peace and for justice. I am part of the Vietnam Veterans Against the War Statement activist group.
What do you think of Vietnam's situation before the United States involvement?
So, I went to war years ago.
When I arrived in Vietnam, 1 year before the massive invasion, we found a country that was coming out of sufferment under imperialist rule, a very poor nation that was divided in two, but that wanted prosperity more than anything else. They were in a war that would decide the future of their own government. It would probably not last much, and they would finally get to the peace they were searching for, but then the United States invaded Vietnam.
What do you think about the United States involvement?
I think that in South Vietnam, there's nothing that threatens the United States. And to attempt to justify the loss of one American soldier in Vietnam is at the height of criminal hypocrisy. And it is this criminal hypocrisy that is steering this country down. People didn't even know the difference in between communism and democracy. They only wanted to work in their fields without bombs shattering all over the place. And they just wanted peace. They just didn't want the involvement of American forces in their own soil. And thus, some people say that American involvement would bring peace in Vietnam. But that is not true, because they practiced the art of siding into whichever army that was in their particular time with them. That could be the North Vietnamese army, the American army, or the Viet Cong.
Okay, thank you so much.